Emma is wearing this blue dress during the winter time, and it's a dress, and then when she visits Harriet, she has like some sort of jacket over it, and then her fur coat. Yeah, I found this template here, and they could have based the outfit on this one. The hat would also be correct. And when her sister leaves, it's just a dress, but with a different muslin fabric, which could have been inspired by this template here or this here, but that's like more a variety and the same color. So I was thinking that this dress, like that this painting really resembles her outfit. Not sure if this outfit is a subtle hint to Jane Austen herself, because this painting here is based on a watercolor made by Cassandra Austen, Jane Austen's sister. I also just wanted to say that you see a lot of back shots in the film.
I've never done a job before where I've been so aware of absolutely every single thing on my body and all of my surroundings as a way to tell the story. So if you're wearing a coat that has an incredible back, as Emma, you know she knows it's got an incredible back. So all of a sudden I'm delivering the line over my shoulder, showing the back of the coat.
So my theory is that they chose the back shots because there are so many templates that show the back of an outfit. So maybe that's why they incorporated that into the film. We also have to mention this painting here, which is by Goethe's friend Caspar David Friedrich, who was one of the most important German romantic landscape painters and is generally seen as the most important German painter of his generation. The painting is from around 1817 and Emma was written in 1816, so this painting is a new addition in art and could have been included in the film because at the time it was something new and revolutionary in art. I am of course not sure if this is the case or if it's only a nice coincidence. Emma wears most dresses several times, except the Christmas dress. I think she only wears it once, and then the dress in the church when Mr. Elton comes back from his hiatus. It looks like she's wearing a light white coat over a stripped dress, as seen in this template. The grey Spencer is another one she only wears once, despite the Christmas dress. The second pelisse Emma wears is the yellow one. An article suggested that Mr. Knightley wearing his yellow coat is just to show his alliance to Emma, but I think it's the other way around, because we see Mr. Knightley wearing the yellow coat in the opening scene, like the first time he goes and visits Emma in the film. And we see Emma wearing the yellow coat much later in the movie, so I think it's more that she's showing subconsciously maybe that she belongs to him. For a short time I was also thinking that the yellow coat could be a reference to Goethe's The Sorrow of a Young Werther, where I thought he wore a yellow coat, but he actually doesn't. He wears a blue one and he wears yellow pants. The figure has an unrequited love and he kills himself in the end, so I was thinking that they chose the yellow coat in the opening to show that Mr. Knightley has an unrequited love for Emma, and then later in the film he changes his coat because their love is not unrequited anymore. But as I said, that's actually not the color the protagonist of the book wears, so this theory is not valid anymore. But yeah, I thought it would have been genius to do it this way, especially since they seem to have taken reference from a German painting for one of Emma's dresses when her sister comes to visit during Christmas. I actually saw this in Karolina Zewrowska's video, but I'm not so sure if they really based it on this, like, although it looks really similar, because there are like a lot of famous paintings in history of art that are way more known, because everything would be based on Paris anyway. It always says on the templates costume parisien, which is like Parisian dresses, and either they could have based it on that, or They looked at the famous painters from the Neoclassicism period in France. Here, Angelika Kaufmann. Top one would be Jacques-Louis David, the painter of the time. It's kind of like Picasso today. He painted the Napoleon sisters who wear a similar, like, it's not a crown. I don't think it's a crown. I think it's more like a com. Was very popular at the time, and we see it in several paintings. Also in this one by Elizabeth Vigée Le Brun, the woman who painted many of Marie Antoinette's court paintings. The painting was a scandal at the time because of the muslin fabric, so she had to paint another painting. They were really popular, it seems, so of course Emma would be wearing one. Then the earrings, I just think it was in style at the time. Although the earrings probably weren't so much in style, I have hardly seen any of them in any template or painting. If I did, it was painting from the 1830s rather than the 1810s, where they seem to have preferred single drop earrings. Lady Selina seems an exception. And this here made me smile a little bit because the painting on the wall, it looks exactly like the outfit that Werther had worn, and it was really in style a few years before Emma, I think in the 1770s. It was pointed out that her yellow coat could be a hint to Clueless.
Ew, get off of me! Ugh, as if!
Which is based on Emma. But then at the same time, this shade of yellow was really popular in the 1810-20s. Emma is wearing the yellow petticoat. I also found templates of women wearing this yellow color. That must have been a trend. It could be both, you know, it could have been that it was all Vogue at the time, and at the same time Emma is showing her alliance to Mr. Knightley. A real life example. This lady here in the ball scene also wears this yellow dress, which just shows that this yellow shade was really popular. Then the hat to the outfit is with those yellow feathers, and the hat could be loosely based on this template here. Emma wears at least 3 different colored petticoats that be worn underneath the sheer muslin dresses, and I'm not sure if the white one is also one or if it's just a normal undergarment. We see Emma wearing this yellow petticoat in the fight scene with Mr. Knightley. She wore a sheer white muslin dress over it, and then she accentuated it with a brown spencer. I like how we see all 3 steps of it in different scenes. She's also wearing the gingham coat, and I don't know if this is a hint to Mr. Knightley, because in the fight scene he wears the gingham vest underneath his yellow coat, and then she wears this gingham coat later. And it's funny, even though those 2 outfits are not a direct hint as the yellow coats are, they are still shot together by Autumn de Wilde, since she's also a photographer, so there must have been a connection. I literally found this interview before posting the video, so no wonder I thought there was a connection. Emma is also wearing the gingham coat twice, once when they're in the carriage and Mrs. Bates tells Emma that Jane has arrived, and then the second time in the Ford shop when Henriette meets Mr. Martin. It's a different hat, so that's why I know she wore it at different times. As we've seen previously, it's a dress from when she drew Harriet, and the hat she wore when they met Mr. Martin in the Ford shop, which I think is like a really nice red thread through the story, that like at different times she wears the same dress, and the hat and that those different bits of the same story are kind of connected through this dress. The last time she wears the yellow petticoat is with this dress here, where they play card at the westerns. I like that I found this template, which proves that dots were a thing on muslin dresses. She wears the same outfit again, but this time with the green petticoat underneath. It seems like the green petticoat was also on Vogue or in style, just like the yellow one, because we've seen several templates with yellow clothes. And then I found this template of a woman wearing a green one, a similar one as Emma wears, and I also found this picture of an actual dress. The green petticoat is also worn when Mr. and Mrs. Elton come to tea at Emma's. She accentuates it with a green shawl. We see the same pink petticoat worn underneath a white dress, and there she also pairs it with a pink shawl. I think in general Emma is actually really clever the way she combines the pink petticoat. Like she always changes a different sheer muslin dress over it. It kind of accentuates the difference more. And then when they visit Mr. Knightley, they really do look so similar, and I'm actually not sure if this template is like based on their look, because it reminds me of something, but I can't really tell of what it reminds me. I'm not 100% sure, but I think the dress she wears at first, when Henriette comes to her at night for the first time, this brownish dress, I think she also wears it in the end when her and Mr. Knightley are deciding that Mr. Knightley is coming to Emma's house to live. Last two scenes are deleted scenes, but I still wanted to include them in this video.
No, flower down.
I don't really know what this scene is about or where it was filmed. I have no idea. But I think like her Spencers could be based on this template here. Again, a possible real life example. Then the second outfit she wears is with a green Spencer, and again her little hat that she wears when she visits the Ford shop and Mr. Martin. And her and Henriette are dressed similarly. It almost makes me think of the scene where Henriette goes and visits Mr. Martin. Someone mentioned that Emma's dresses get more flowery, more she falls in love with Mr. Knightley, but it also follows the season because those flowers on her dress are, I think it's in spring. But then at the same time, it was also just popular at the time. I found this template here. It's a ball gown and it has the flowers on the shoulder, just like Emma's. And then this other ball gown where we see the flowers going up. It's not exactly the same as Emma's dress, but it still could have been an inspiration. And then the chain, it looks so modern. This looks like a modern chain that just put on a bit like Bridgerton. But then I found this template and they actually did wear those heavy big chains, so it's accurate. I couldn't find any fashion template on this outfit here, but I saw this painting by chance. It's of Napoleon's sister, who became the queen consort of Naples. And I kind of feel like the golden trims at her dress like resemble the ones Emma wears, but hers are in green. And this painting is by Gérard, who also painted Queen Josephine, Napoleon's wife, and he also painted this one, which feels like the cover of my Emma book. So yeah, I don't know if this is too far-fetched, like that there's a connection between those paintings, and that I just assume that the costume designer might have seen the painting, the Emma painting. But also it's like it's a famous painting in general. It's for art history, it's like really important, really known, and that then they found those paintings. But yeah, most of the fashion templates, they're based on Paris anyway, and since Josephine was the queen of France at the time, or no, she was empress, she wasn't queen, she was empress, it's not a long shot that they went to Napoleon's sister for reference. Even if Napoleon had just put a continental blockade against the British from 1806 to 1814, the French fashion might still have had an influence on the British one. And here's just a chain of the dress. I assume those paintings might have been a reference for Emma's white dresses she wears in the end.
That's not the fucking line, I'm sorry. I'm gonna go back and do that again.
And I also looked at several wedding templates to see if they based her dress on it. It doesn't seem like they did. In the opening scene we see Emma walking with flowers in her hands, and it almost looks like a girl walking down the aisle. And I like that at the end we see her walking down the aisle with flowers in the hand again.